Hello and welcome guys. In this video I'm going to quickly show you following steps: how to install Ansible in CentOS system and also the initial configuration required by Ansible. And to show that, I need a lab setup, and I have a server which is server 01, which is going to act as an Ansible master server, and the client system where I'm going to push some settings, or I'm going to some operational changes, which is RHEL test and RHEL prod. So those are the two systems I'm going to use as a client system. And I will also going to show you an SSH quit mode through which you would be able to do some operation which is very similar to Ansible adhoc command. So let's get started then. So first thing what we have to ensure is your EPEL release repository is installed. So if it is not installed, just install it. I think I have already installed, that is why it is saying it is already installed and latest version. So next thing what I have to do is I have to install Ansible. So in CentOS you don't have to do anything because it comes with all this repository, that EPL and other bash extra repository. You will have those packages, so we just have to install it from there, and currently it is installing. So once it is installed, I will going to see the configuration file. So what are the configuration file we need to change or modify? So the next step, I'm just going to check the configuration file for Ansible. Okay, so inside /etc Ansible, I can see there are two configuration files. If I go inside this directory, I can see there are three files, two files and one folder. So this is the important file, similar to we have in /etc host, which is the OS host file or inventory file where we specify the server information. Similarly, same thing we are going to do in this file. So we have to specify the server or the client system which you are going to manage with Ansible master. So there are some example given. Example, if you have some web server and how you are going to specify like this, you can also specify a bunch of servers. And also if you have something like www.00126, there are 6 servers with this naming convention, then probably you have to specify like this, and in another line you don't need to specify. So if you have anything like this, and for me I have 2 servers, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to update those file information here. The first one is, I would say, test environment, so that is why I said test, and the server name is RHEL6 test. And also I have one server, just assuming that this is a prod environment, RHEL6 prod. That's it. So we just have to specify the server there and save it. So once you save that, you would be able to reach those server with Ansible command. So similarly with Ansible, when you reach the client system, we have also something in SSH which is called quit mode. With quit mode, we'd be able to fetch some information from client system. Like I have a system which is RHEL6 test, right? And I wanted to check this, and I wanted to probably do a uname, and I wanted to see the kernel information, and also I wanted to see a df output for that server. So let's run this command, and if you see, it will prompt for you password because it is not configured as passwordless authentication, so that is why it asks for password. And now you can able to see I can able to see some information. This is my kernel information, also df-h output. So similarly in also Ansible, there is a command which is Ansible, and there are some modules you would be able to run that with Ansible command, and those command it is called as adhoc command. So how will we run that Ansible? Then we can specify the environment. We have specified two environment, if you remember, test and prod. So let me just specify test here, and I need to use a module which is called ping. So just to ping the system, I am using a ping module, and let's see if I able to see some output here. It is failed. Why? Because it has not configured the passwords, and also the user by default it checks for root, right? So I have to specify root user. Anyway, I'm using as a root user, and I have to specify the password for that system. Anyway, what I'm going to do is I do not specify the password here. Instead of just running this command like this, and here I'm specifying the password, and if I run that command, I would be able to ping the system, and I would be able to see a response, and I can able to see there is a response and it says ping pong and it is success. So this is how you would be able to do your initial test, how whether your client system is able to reach by your Ansible master or not. And it is similar like the SSS command which I have showed you, and again you can able to use some other module like shell, and shell is a module, and I wanted to specify the attributes under this. You can probably use a single quote or double quote, not an issue, and I wanted to specify the same command here to see, and I need to specify the username, otherwise it will going to fail, root, and the password it will going to ask, and I just specify the password, and I can see the similar output which I have received from sss-q command. So adhoc command is nothing but the modules which you are going to run on the client system for temporary purpose. Just wanted to quickly find some information from client system, and we are not going to use or get those information very frequent. Very rarely you are going to use those. In that case it is very useful. Okay, so now how to avoid this password issue, because it is keep on asking and I don't want it to set the type the password every time I wanted to see the information, right? And also when in later videos I'm going to use the playbook, so in that playbook again it will going to ask a password if I have not set passwordless authentication. So to set the passwordless authentication, I believe you guys are aware of it if you are Linux guys. So anyway, I'm going to show you how to do that. It is very simple. What you have to do is you just need to generate a password with this command and specify the type, which I'm going to use a public key, RSA public key, and looks like it is already exists. Okay, so I think it is already exists. If I just go inside this directory and okay, it is not there. SSS minus keygen minus T RSA. It is saying, will you going to overwrite it? I said yes, and I think there is a file created now, and the file is called this one, and I can able to see this content. And now what I have to do is I just have to copy this to my client system. Let me go inside this directory. Just ensure this directory is available in your system. If it is not there, then what you have to do is you just have to create, and you just have to ensure this permission is 700, and once you created that, just go inside the directory, and there would be one file called authorized._keys. If that file is not available, again you can able to create it with the command touch and just specify the file name just like that, right? And you can change the permission to 644, and once you create that, just update the key here. Okay, I think I just missed that key and I have to copy again. Okay, so let me just do that same thing on the node. SSH authorized host key, and inside that I just copied. Right, so now if I go to master node and if I run the command which I have ran earlier, and this time I'm not going to specify the username and also the password, and it should work. Let's see if I get the output here, and I can able to see the output. And now you see only the output for test, because in this group there is only one service. If you wanted to see all which is listed in host file, then how you are going to do? Then you just have to specify all here. So all the servers which is there in your inventory file, in the host inventory file, it will going to look for all the servers and it will give you the output. So now you see the output, and this is looks good. So this is how you have to run an initial command. So first thing, once you have set that up, you just run some basic command. You would probably like to see some information about your client system. So for that, what you will have to do is just run Ansible all and use a module called setup. So if you run this module, you would be able to fetch all the information for your client system, which is having how many CPU, memory, file system information, everything, IP information and other stuff. So if you run this setup command, what it will do, it will go to your client system and it will fetch all the information in JSON format. So here you can see it has given all the information in JSON format for your client systems, but I wanted to specify, or I wanted to filter it only for some specific portion, like I wanted to see the module information, or I wanted to see the memory information for my client system. So in that case you can specify a filter. For that, what we have to do is just have to say setup, and after that you have to specify filter equal to Ansible, and you wanted to see all the memory information, right? How you're going to use the module which is available, and what are the list of modules we have which can be used. To check that, just run command Ansible and doc and just do a list here. So if you run this command, you would be able to see the list of module which is shipped with Ansible package, and I think there are more than 1300 modules comes along with this package. So you can able to see all these modules and the important modules which you would be going to use in your day-to-day activity, and mostly when you're using ad hoc command, right? So for ad hoc command, probably we can use NTP to see the NTP information. Also we can copy files. We can also schedule cron here. There are many modules available. You can use all of them, right? So for patching, again you can use yum for CentOS or Red Hat system, and Jipper for your SUSE Linux system. So you can be able to use them. So there are a number of modules. So if I just run again Ansible doc -l, and if I do a list for line, how many lines or how many modules we have, I would be able to see the information with this command. And you can see there are 1378 modules, right? So you can be able to use all those modules. So mostly used modules are like just to copy file, or you can quickly deploy some packages on client system. So how we are going to do, I will show you here. So Ansible, just specify all. I'm just trying to do with all the system in the host inventory it is mentioned, and I'm going to use a module called shell probably, and specify the attributes, and probably I will going to use a command yum here, like that, yum install vsftpd and why. So if I just go to my client system and do a RPM query for vsftpd, it is not installed, and also for this system it is not installed in the other system as well. So let me just try to install it here. Let me just clear the screen. And remember, here the module is shell, which I'm using. Shell means you can run any command, just have to specify the attributes, and inside that you have to specify the command which you are going to use. And it is currently now trying to log into my other two client system, which is RHEL6 test and prod, and trying to install vsftpd. And we also ensure that the vsftpd package is not installed. And now I can see that package is installed, it seems, on first node in RHEL6 test, and it is trying to install on the other node. And also it has given one warning saying use yum module instead running command. So that can be done anyway, I will show you that, but I just wanted to show that you can also use the shell command to install packages, and you can able to see the both system has given the output and the vsftpd package is installed. So if I just try to check that and log in into this system and run the same command again, and I see the package is installed. Great. So let me just check for the other system also, just to double check, and this package is installed. So this is how you would be able to install the package. So here since the warning has given, I would also like to show you how you are going to use the yum module. So the same thing, what you have to do is just specify the module here, yum, and the attribute is same, and here you just have to specify the name. So let me just specify some different package, probably httpd, and I wanted to say the state should be, I mean whether it is the latest package or some specific package I wanted to have. So I would say latest one, which is the latest one is available, just install that. And also I wanted to see the state, it should be started, so it should be running when that package is installed. Also start the service. So for that, when I'm saying the service, I need to use one more module called service. So after yum, I will just specify minus yum m here, and I will say service. So now I'm using a yum module and also a service module to install HTTP package, and I wanted to ensure that the package is latest, which is available, and also it should start. So it is trying to check on those two systems, which is under host file, my RHEL6 test and RHEL6 prod, and it is trying to install the package. And for some reason in RHEL6 it is failed. We will see why it is failed. Not an issue. Could not found the request service httpd host, and it is currently trying to check with prod system, and prod system it is successed. So I wanted to see why it is failed there. Probably let me just go to RHEL6 test system where it is failed. Okay, it is test only. And if I do an RPM query, httpd package is not installed, yum repo list, because repositories must be configured, otherwise it will not going to install. So for some reason it is failing, and let me just try to SSH RHEL6 test. It is able to log in, but unable to install the package httpd. Let me just run that command again and see why it failed. It doesn't make any sense. Could not find the request service httpd. and this time this output should come in green because the package is already installed and it is already started, so there won't be any changes. And here it is still I'm unable to install the package. Let me just do a ping again. In just specify only the server RHEL6 test. Oh, sorry, I have to say only test here. It is able to ping, but for some reason it is unable to install the package. Let me just go to here, IPA. Oh, maybe because of the interface I have up ETH0, because in my master system the interface is, the IP is mentioned for this system is 42. Okay, 42 here. Let me just go to master system again and check my host file for test. For test it is mentioned 44, and I see 44 is up for ETH1. IP tables -f SC status, just to ensure nothing is blocking. And let me try to just specify only test here and see if that helps. It failed again, so let me just check here. This system is this one, and it is, let me just do one thing, probably just remove the service module. Name equal to httpd, and I wanted to install the latest package. Okay, so it is installed. I'm not sure what was the issue. It seems like this time it worked and the package is installed. So if I just go to test system and do an RPM query for httpd, and it is installed. Not sure, there was some problem I believe, and due to that it was unable to, when I specify multiple command here or multiple module, and it was unable to install it. So anyway, now it is installed and it is showing in yellow, and I'm running the same command again, and now it should do only the portion for service start, because package is already installed and it is already there on the system, and those should skip, and it is only should start the service in test system. So let's see if this work or not. And it worked. So I can able to see in RHEL6 this is started, so service is now running on there. And instead of test, if I just do all now, everything should comes in green because everything is running there. So let's see what is the output we get here, and I can able to see the output for RHEL6, and there is nothing changed and everything is in green. Excellent. So this is how you'd be able to use some important or most commonly used adhoc command. You can be able to use any command with shell module, and if you wanted to specifically use yum and stuff, then you can able to use. And there is something more, like you can also copy file from one location to another with copy modules. Let me just give you one demo. Probably it will take 1 or 2 minutes. Just create a file, temp1.txt probably for testing, and I wanted to use Ansible minus, I wanted to do for all the nodes, and the module is -m, and copy is the module name, and I wanted to use the attributes. In double quote I wanted to use source where this file is located, and I wanted to copy, and also the destination I wanted to give the same destination. And if you are not sure what is where I can use, from where I can found this information, src, your destination and other information, then don't have to worry, just run Ansible -doc and specify this command, copy the copy module, and here you can able to see the options you would be able to use, destination and other information, like if you wanted to change the ownership and other stuff. Right, so what I was supposed to do, I was supposed to copy. Let me run this command and try to copy the file to all of my client system, and it should be able to copy, and it should give an yellow output here. So I can able to see the yellow output, and I believe the file are copied to the destination location. Let me just double check, and if I just do a ls-l, I can see the file. And also in this client system, if I run this, I can able to see the file. So guys, this is how you have to use your ad hoc commands. There are many modules you can able to use. You can just check at Ansible -doc and just do a -l for listing and see what are the modules you have, and most probably what you will able to use it with shell command. If you wanted to run anything in your client system and get the quick information, then just use the command, the module called shell. So I already showed you, all -m then shell.
Wherever I go, wherever I see, I remember